I'm on air or not. Okay, here we are. I don't need not one person to come here or look at none of this per se. Um, I'm testing the waters right now. Before in the past, and I don't know how recently they've changed things, but before in the past, they didn't have some of these options as far as the streaming is concerned. I think it was almost exclusively you stream through the Hangouts. Now you don't have to. I was attempting to, because I set up an account through this website. I was attempting to stream it through them, uh, uh, to no success, and I just think it has to do with the actual account itself. Not going to worry about that. What I will say though is success, success. I'm looking at this little so-called control room. It's new stuff that they do this stuff all the time. They have the cameraman, they have the screen share. I can call people or add them to the Hangout or whatever. Uh, Most definitely, we'll be doing one of these at least throughout the week. I would love for Brother Power and Name to most definitely just get in a Hangout, you know, uh, and chop it and anybody else who wants to chop it. But I've been really wanting to talk to bro for such a long time, you know, and he's more or less one of the outgoing reasons why I wanted to do this because my own inward reasons. Like I said, I'm slowly, ever so slowly, making transitions to do things. As we speak, right here is my MacBook. I'm learning how to make iBooks right now. We figure that out. Once that's figured out, once that's actually like really figured out, oh, it's about to go down. You know, um, once again, I'm not asking anybody for anything. I have to save my own money. I have to pay the proper amount of money to be able to live stream from these other websites. You see what I'm saying? Do little podcasts. I just want to change my whole approach on this. Um, I don't think it's too much to ask the people that have already been dealing with me for however long they've been dealing with me, as there's varying degrees. You know, somebody like Cookie Monster, you know, that's somebody from pretty much when I first started this whole thing off. Somebody like that is their whole mentality right now because they've grown with me. That of course, they have their own life to grow in, but as far as this journey is concerned, you know, this just getting into the word and just reading it and then just trying to figure it out. That journey, there has been a group of people that have grown with me over the last two and some change, year and some change, and just some change. But that's okay. That's fine. That's beautiful. That's the essence of it all. This live stream is a testimony to what it is that is coming. As my time slowly tries to get ate up, I'm going to escape from the perils of the baseball season by having a regular job for the most part. Uh, I got project, can't even talk about it, underway. Myself and three other individuals are willing to do what may seem impossible at first, but we'll, unless the Most High gets back first, you know, we'll see what part we don't play in helping the people see that they're not as crazy as they think they are. Um, the iBooks are going to be about the main thing is going to be the biblical stuff. Uh, uh, but to keep it fresh, like this whole little live stream thing is fresh, I just want to just be like, look, we're going to get there in just a little bit of time. Give me a couple months to really because I want to have official iBooks. Like, not, I don't even really want to sell them. Some of the stuff I'm going to have monetized. Those that deal with me, obviously, you'll get your copies face up. But for those that I know are naysayers, they won't even be able to access the material, unless they want to pay for it. But those that are my people, let's give it to them. So that's how we're going to do it. And that's how I'm going to do it. And I just told you to your face how it's going to work. So this is better than an expound. This is like straight up. I can't go back, not stopping it, none of that. And that's the beauty of this part. This is why I enjoy the live part of it, because I can't fix it. If I say a word messed up right now, that word is messed up. I have to correct that. So this is why I would prefer to do a live stream, because it keeps you legitimately honest. A person can say whatever they want to you, but in all actuality, what happens is that if I allow myself to be bombarded or to succumb to the tactics, antics, whatever you want to call it, manipulation of another person, that's my fault. You see? But if I have it to where, once again, it's straight up, there is no, you know, and here when I do the live stream, I'm gonna try to do them earlier. Obviously, it's really late right now. I mess around and do another one tomorrow in the middle of the day. But I just want y'all to see that, like, I'm willing to do it. I'll do it. I'm not unwilling. There's just a specific brand of people I'm trying to reach. I don't care to talk to everybody. I don't. That's not my thing. I just so happen to work and see different people from different struggles. So I invariably deal with everyone. Right. It doesn't mean that, oh, this is what I'm seeking to do. And I have nothing against these people. It's just my first thing to do, just like their first thing to do most of the time, is to look out for their people. So guess what? I want to look out for mine and tell them things like, it's okay to have faith. It's okay to believe in something that you've never seen ever before. It's all right. It's just fine. It is even more okay for you to listen to those who dissent, so as to know the views of the dissenters. You cannot quell the dissension if you do not understand it, the frustration, the indignation that they have found within this. So, not to be subversive, because I already have been subversive, to listen to another person is to submit yourself in so many ways. So, if they have not been subversive in that effort, I don't know what they've done. It's a relative term. Relative, at best. These people want to subvert your souls, if they even believe that you have one of those. I'm trying to get you to see things differently. Name one man, name one man who can say right now, out of their mouth, Noah's sons are triplets. And it'd be like, that's what I'm on right now. That's what makes the most sense. And I'm going against the grain on all that. Name who else? People of the people. Where are they at? because I need to hear it myself to know that I'm not the only one. Because if I'm the only one talking that kind of jargon, who's not afraid to put themselves out there in front of the train, mind you, then there needs to be some clarity in your mind as to maybe these people who are telling you things don't know as much as they're levying. Let me give you a prime example. I am a millennial. I was born in 1991. For people who were born before the year of 1983, which is the cutoff year, and my understanding of the generation of X, and the start of that generation would be 1965, the year my mother was born. So, with that said, you have people who are within generations, the end and the beginning of the generations, that are closer related in understanding and in age. With that contended, I always find it awkward that people bash and thrash the millennials, yet the millennials, well, they only lasted to 2001. So this generation after the millennials, who are the young children who are committing countless acts of atrocities across the world, but mainly within this nation. And these individuals now are not Gen Xers, are not millennials, yet they've been lumped into this group with millennials, people my age. I'm 27. So for a person to say that somebody who's the youngest millennial is 17 years old, will be 17. That's the end. The 2002 and up, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. Or yeah, exactly. Or 2002, excuse me. The youngest millennial will be 16, and then '03 on up. Look, however, I'm so far displaced from those dudes at the lesser end of the spectrum within the generation. I don't even think about it like that. I think about it like there's people this age, there's people this age, there's people who understand this, there's people who understand that. For you to try to levy a generational term against a person as if that holds any weight, yet you will say something as racist if a person says, well, you're black, so you're a thief. Is that not the same thing? To be like, well, because you were born at this time, you're you're going to be more fluent or accustomed to these things that aren't even fucking scientifically proven. They're not. They are not. You got people out here, man, who really don't get it. They don't understand. You got 50-year-old children, 50-year-old children, 60-year-old children. These are grown ass men and women that are hella grown, that have been grown forever, and they still act like they're children. And you mean to tell me that because they were born at a time where in which people might have got hosed with water and bit with dogs, that makes them somehow more wise than the next person just because they slipped through the cracks? Or buried their head in the sand long enough to make it that long? Please, please. Once again, as I told a gentleman not too long ago, those who are going to save anything, if there's anything to be saved, going to be guys my age, a few years older and a few years younger. Don't worry about the rest. Don't even worry about all that. You got to get to a point to where I'm an old man. People of my age are old men. I'm the future. You're the future. If you're still moving, breathing right now, you're the future. That baby, that child is a dependent right now. Their future is solely dependent upon you and what you do for them. So, because they are a dependent, I cannot call them the future because the future is the present as it stands right now. I did that in the past. That was the past just then. What I just said, what I just did. Can you dig it? This is the present right now as I'm speaking, going forward. So please, please, the notions that people want to render and all that, I could care less. I could care less. For me, this is just like me sitting in front of the camera whenever I do an expound. I'm not even worried about who's watching, who's not. I just get to just chop it up for a second and just go all in. People have rubric little ideas that they want to come and I have none of that. It's just come at it random, all random. Live stream for the first time. They tried to pull some funny bunny because I went and set it up on another account because I didn't want to. I don't want to have to use Google and all that stuff because this is theirs. They shut it down. But if I'm proctoring through another website on another website, there's no shutting me down. Can you dig it? Those websites have to get shut down. That's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm thinking. I'll pay my own. I don't need anybody. I'm going to pay my own way for this, people. And I'm not knocking the brothers and sisters who have their hands out, who might need the money. But I don't need anything from you. You know what I need from you? If anything, I need for you to continue on living and to recognize that these people who tell you that there is no creator of everything, yet will use a scientific notion that I could show you is in this book that is credited being thousands of years of text compiled together. Yet people will say that a white man wrote the book, yet no clan of white people by and part follow all these rules as a whole, especially when we talk about just the Pentateuch or the Torah, the first 5 books, the books of Moses. So when you speak on that level of understanding and then people would like to antiquate the teachings in the book to be subversive, what is subversive about telling a man not to sleep with his sister, his mother, his auntie, his father, and other men? What's subversive about telling people not to eat the fat of animals or the blood of the animals? So that way, number one, you don't clog your arteries with the eating the fat and things like that. And then number two, you don't take on an illness by eating the blood of the animal. However, because that's subversive, that doesn't make any sense. It's subversive to tell people to get circumcised. Because number one, it's a matter of hygiene. And then number two, you're talking about the ability to naturally fight off diseases, or not, and I don't mean to cure your body. I mean to like prevent them from actually settling in as it stands. Does anybody not? I mean, are we all on the same page here? You tracking? Because it's a blessing, you know, to be able to look at a book and say, well, this one book has facets and things within it that nobody has ever debunked, not once. They've made the comparable things with the contradictions that even I've pointed out. I'll point out something that does not make sense, but we have to recognize that translation and transliteration opens the doors for error. With that said, to argue with the person about what the words are on the page is moot. You can't gain any ground like that. You don't gain any ground. If somebody showed up who's ever viewing, right on. You know, I don't I'm not so much worried about who is and who isn't and what is and what ain't. I'm just trying to just do the right thing, you know, which is speak to people and say to them, I'm not so much and being right, you know, being right on time, you know, being right on time to say the truth, to tell myself something, you know, to tell y'all something. But this is another thing I wanted to say. Within the text of the words, does anybody ever find it boggling? I mean, just a little startling that for every precept there's a reason why it says to do it. Once again, like it says, don't eat the fat of animals, right? There is not any written text that supports that your arteries get clogged. None. Nothing that even gets close to that. So thousands of years later, so-called scientist tells you that this stuff clogs your arteries. Yet you believe them, though it was written in a book, written in text for people to do, to live. Now they can antiquate that to nothing and just say, well, these people were just living this way. How does that make sense? Does that make any sense to y'all? That these people wore clothes, didn't run around butt naked, had cities, traded with gold and silver, had names for their currency, had units of measurement, all these things. And yeah, they'll tell you that, well, this is just a formality. There's people who still live in the jungle right now, butt naked, running around eating humans and whatever else they can get their hands on. And they know nothing, nothing. So, and they've been like this for thousands of years. How can they tell you that these are natural advancements of man? They're not. The book shows us that the man did not advance by himself. So when they try to tell you that extraterrestrials or whatever, it's not nonsense, but it's a slap to the face of the text, because the text is telling you that something not from Earth, first off, not from Earth, formed the whole planet and made all of it. So the whole idea of a outworld entity being the influence for all life on this planet, well, it's the only logical thing. So for a scientist or somebody else like that to try to shoo you out with the ideas that somebody in a spaceship from another dimension, another universe, whatever, came here, swooped in, impregnated, once again, claiming that you came from protein acids, developed like, I mean, just things that don't make any sense. They don't add up. Monkeys don't turn into humans anymore. Fishes aren't turning into lizards. Lizards aren't turning into birds. Birds aren't turning into four-legged quadrupeds. I mean, it's just, there's too many little things that don't happen anymore. And for them to say that we've hit the apex of evolution or anything like that, for you to not have evolved, for me to not have evolved in this lifetime, it makes no sense. And for a person to feed into it, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. Everything is true, people. When I say everything is true, take that with a grain of salt. Zeus was a real tangible thing. Jupiter, whatever you want to call it, all those were real. When you stop saying that they're fake and saying that, okay, they're real, but where do they fit? Then you'll be better off. Because trying to tell yourself that it's not real, it doesn't exist, that doesn't make indisputable evidence go away. So what that makes for me to do as a person is to say, okay, well, how can I tie this all in together? How does it overlap? How does it intersect? Why are there contradictions? Are these contradictions man-made, or are these natural contradictions? Because these are two different sects, branches, ideas, whatever. I can't dictate that. I don't know. All I do know as a person, as a man, is that I read this book. I try to read other books, and somehow, for some odd reason now, it's so hard to read other literature. It's very, very difficult for me to pick up another book and be like, I'm going to take this super duper serious, or even at face value, because the tenets within sometimes disobey what they've said. A prime example, I'm reading a book right now called White Trash by a lady named Nancy Eisenberg. Now, I'm not going to trash the woman, but a very interesting part of her book is that it's about class. Well, if she knew something about what she was saying, is that a slave is a form or a billet of class within society. So when a person tells you about the unforgotten white class, the undertow white classmen, well, under the undertow are still the slaves. And so to try to make it seem as if their life was somehow made difficult by the presence of slaves, when the premise of her book is that the people that sent them here didn't give a damn about them, makes no sense in the first place. None whatsoever. Number two, her premise of regular people or politicians being the base models of regular people, some of them being known as vehement racists, gives rise to regular people were racist and always have been. And that's class aside. Right. So even while they were poor white trash, they still hated niggas. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And for a person to try to antiquate once again what slaves went through, right? And by trying to throw in the fact that people were mixed breeds or anything like that, it doesn't take away the sting or the hatred people levied against one group of people for no apparent reason. I can't think of a good reason right now. I can't. I'm trying to think of, like, did the slaves not work hard enough on the plantations? Did they not die enough meaningless deaths? I mean, like, did you not rape enough of them? Did you not mutilate enough of them? Did you not torture them enough? Was there not overall psychological trauma, physical trauma, spiritual trauma imbued upon these people? Then passed on through, through their genetics biologically to their children, where now to this day, people don't know why they get angry. And I'm talking about black people. I'm not talking about nobody else. I'm talking about my people who look like me. They just get angry. They couldn't even tell you why they're angry. They don't even know why they're angry. But if they really picked at the surface, it's really because these issues are never addressed. And once again, a person will tell you that the pages of a book that have words that make sense are subversive, yet will come at you with the words of the people that subverted them as proof and backing to their claim. It makes no sense, people. None. I don't personally prefer to use articles and websites and .orgs and .coms and .net. I personally couldn't care less what another person thought. I could give a damn. As far as a so-called professional, as far as somebody who spent more time in the office than in the field and the turf, really doing the damn thing, I'm not listening to them. They don't know nothing. They don't know anything. Once again, if you put your head in the sand or you fell between the cracks, your opinion at best is speculative. That's it. You have a speculator's opinion. That's it. You were never initiated in any of these things. You were never involved in any of these things. So therefore, how you feel, no offense, is just not that important. How could it be? How could it be? I've never reared a child. I can't give birth. I'm a man. So for me to try to tell a woman how that feels is totally, absolutely ludicrous. It's crazy. For another person to try to come and tell you what you've been through or what you know, what you've experienced, is crazy. That's fact. That's a fact. Stats don't matter if they don't apply to you. If they're like 2 out of every 3 black men are going to go to jail in their life, but you're the 1 in every 3 who you've never had problems with police, you know, a couple of little brush run-ins, you've never been charged with the crime, nothing like that. Your overall outlook could be totally different than a person who's been arrested, or it could be the same. And there's varying degrees of the people who are the 2 out of 3 who are going to agree or disagree with the 1 out of 3. It's just how it's written. It's all circumstantial. Has nothing to do with what I know or what you don't know. Right. So you can only take these people at face value, man. Don't be out here thinking that one dude knows it all. They're not. They are. Demetrius Antoine Jones is not the end all to a damn thing. Can you dig it? Not the end all to nothing, people. Don't ever let one of these sucker butts tell you that what they know is absolute. Unless it's the sun coming up and going down type information. Ignore it. Just ignore it. I've been through that. I had a situation this weekend. I deal with a lot of people once again from out of state, and I work in Seattle. It was super duper windy. Little guy from Chicago or whatever. Let me explain something about bread, just in case you didn't know this. You could buy bread and force it to mold in a couple of days within the right circumstances and conditions. One day, if you really know what you're doing. But anyway, sometimes I'll buy bread and I'll let it sit in my van or whatever. I'll forget to cover the bread up because the sun will come in and it's like a magnifying glass, and then the condensation builds up anyway or whatever. You'll buy a thing of bread, it'll be bad 2 or 3 days later when you go check on it. You have to throw the whole shit out. Anyway, this guy's bread had a little spot of mold on it, and I really didn't see it just because I couldn't have my light up. My tent was down, a whole host of bullshit. This guy, as opposed to him being cordial enough to say, hey, yo, bro, this little piece of mold right here, can I get a new piece of bread or another dog or whatever? This dude flashes out, and I'm like, man, hold on, bro, I got you. I get some out of that little piece of bread. I'm about to make him another dog. This dude is steadily running his mouth. And I'm like, so finally I just let him have it. And I'm like, yo, bro, it's a little ass piece of fucking mold. Excuse my language, y'all, but this is verbatim what I said. You act like it's on the whole fucking bread. You act like I did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? There's a level of integrity that I have for myself. I would never do something like that. That's my living. So it's unforeseeable. However, he felt, because he's from Chicago, that apparently niggas in Chicago don't get their ass whooped. Because that's how a lot of dudes from other places come at me. You know, like as if they moved to another state, so by default, they're the toughest nigga around because they're from a certain area. And it's like, I don't understand that thinking. But anyway, this guy, with his mindset, would tell me, right? Because I'm trying to tell you how people try to tell you what you're thinking or what to believe. Is going to try to tell me that I purposely gave him something that would and could permanently damage my reputation as a person who's in the food industry, where somebody's like, oh man, he gave me some shit that was moldy on purpose, or what. And that like never ever happens. It happens like once in a blue moon. You don't catch it, you know, but it's bread, it's whatever. And as opposed to this guy let me right the wrong, he went off on me. Long story short, short story shorter, this guy is related to a dude that I deal with quite often. He comes out there and tells me, I'm going to let this slide. And I'm thinking to myself, do they not know how lucky that they just got dealing with me? Because once again, if I don't know you and you don't know me, you don't know what I'm capable of, and I don't know what you're capable of. But I know what I'm willing to do, and you should know what you're willing to do. So without me being too much of a knucklehead and getting too carried off into that situation, just think about that, y'all. This dude tried to imply that I did that on purpose. And the fucking cold wind and all that. I mean, like, I'm standing, I don't have to be there. I could be doing anything else with my time, anything. And yet you think I want to give you, you know, once again, the microscopic little, you know, small little piece, but still it's mold. I don't want that. I don't want that. And I'm going to say something if I get that anywhere I go to, but I'm going to come at it a certain way because I want to be served still. And I gave this dude his money back. Nope. Once again, no skin off my nose to give you a refund. That's nothing. Here's your money. He threw his little hot dog, you know. I saved him from getting his own head blown off by reaching into my, oh, you reaching? Yeah, I'm reaching. Fuck you think this is, bro? Y'all, once again, man, look, this is just me talking to you. Straight up 100, no joking, no lying. I don't have no time for that. You know, I want to do another little one of these It's Tuesday today, or about to be Tuesday. Probably Tuesday for some of y'all already, but it's gonna be Tuesday here in a little bit. Probably do one on Thursday, if not tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Wednesday is tomorrow for me, but we'll figure it out because I want to be able to get people in here, talk, chop it up. Let me see if I can't take a link right now and figure it out how to do it right now real quick. And 1 second. And put that out there for y'all to hop on here real quick if you so desire. 1 moment. What's up, bro? Mike Woodard. I'm just not getting over here looking at everything, man. I'm not ignoring nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ignoring nothing, bro. I'm just not getting over here, man. 249 PA. How's it going over there on the East Coast, man? You know, and I sent the little link out there, so it's there. But you know, the little delay or whatever is gonna be what it is. But bro, I appreciate you, man. It's a blessing, bro. Once again, man, just to be alive and to I don't know, man. You know, just to be around, bro. Just to be around. But it's a blessing, bro. Just to have you up, man, because you know you post a lot of stuff that I see. Like there was one. Let me look for my phone real quick. Let me find it. There was one you sent out not too long ago that I really did like a lot. It was provocative to say the least. The plantation at the plantation cold. Oh no! Don't let the plantation be cold, man. I know how it is though. Shit, I was the plantation this weekend, cold as it could get. So I got to go pay my phone bill, so I can't pull it up right this second. But I want to say it was about it's a bombing somewhere, man. People got messed up, and it was just crazy because you know you were saying how you were saying how they had kicked you off, man, not too long ago, man. You know, bruh. You know, man, and it's just crazy because they'll I don't see why they would kick you off for just posting the stuff. But then I watched a lot of these videos, man, and it's not your own words. It's just some of the information is so incendiary to these people. I know it has to be. It has to be. And so I'm just cracking up to myself because I'm just like, oh man, you're tearing them up, you know, because you're sharing them with our little set, you know. Yep. England. Yep. Yep, it was in England, man. You know, I'm just a knucklehead, man. I just like to look at stuff. I try not to say too much about, you know, a whole lot of it because it's very political these days. I don't really talk about relationships or none of that kind of stuff with people because you know how that is. You know, everybody thinks they know. See, okay, see that's crazy. See, bro, because a guy like you should have a channel, man. You know, because that's correspondent work, bro. You know what you're doing is what is what the correspondents do. You know that they go out there, they're up at awkward times. You know, finding the information that's not easy to do. That's never easy to do. You come with such a wide range of information. You know, it's not like you're limited to just things that are happening in like the political world. You know, you upload things that are also spiritually in tune, and then you go to things that are you know. Oh man, they be flagging you. See, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you know how it is though, bro. They're going to try to get on that ass because I had to stop making certain content the way I was, man, because I got a couple of copyright notices before. You know, I don't have any strikes, but I have the copyright notices. Like where they sent them, then I had to dispute them, and they're from my own words. My own words that I typed up and put in videos, and so I stopped putting titles to videos if I was gonna, do that. Like, so anytime now you see a stanza of words, it's normally in like a general expound or like a spiritual gumbo or something like that. You know. Yeah, no, bro. The information does relate to prophecy, man. But that's another thing, though, brother. Is we're dealing with all that, man. It's just like it goes back to like all the different realms that you touch on, because they do speak to different things within the scripture, you know, and they can't help it, you know, they can't help it but to reveal themselves to us because they have to. The Most High will do nothing in secret, you know. That's the most beautiful thing about them. It's funny, bro, to be here having this conversation, you know, chopping it up, doing what we do. This is, to me, this is the most fruitful thing that I can do. We can do, but I can do as a person for myself, because it's it's not just a help to say, well, you know what, let me get it off my chest, but it's also a help because I get to go back. I get to say, you know what, let me fine tune that part of my speech. Some people don't like when you swear or curse or whatever they call it. And I try not to be vulgar overly, but I feel some type of way about some of these subjects, man. They really do touch my spiritual chords where I just can't ignore it. Oh well, man, I'm gonna tell you why they let you back, bro. You know, it's the fear factor, brother. It's the fear factor because because let's say there was a person that they booted off for similar reasons, and they called themselves getting ready to sue YouTube or sue Google, or had like a legitimate case. If you have a legitimate case and you haven't expounded your legitimate case, in order for that to stay what it is, we'll go ahead and bring them back on in. Let's not make a big deal out of it. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully he doesn't make a big deal out of it, because when they sent the copyright notices, I went to look up the websites that that I supposedly had taken the information from, and they were bootleg websites. They didn't even register on the internet. They were fake. So, at what level is it NSA, DIA, CIA, FBI, Homeland Security, Department of Justice, and all their other little small cronies? I mean, it's unforeseeable to really say who it is per se. I couldn't I can't call it. I can't call it, brother. But let me just get back on kill for just half a second and just say this right here real fast, man. The scripture is not meant for one person to understand all by themselves. you know um um and when I say that, I'm saying that from a point of view that we're no longer imbued with knowledge of self. We have a fictitious knowledge of self, which is why we have so many people who still call themselves Egyptian and things like that of the nature, because they're not sure. So until there's clarity, uh, I think that there's going to be this confusion. Give me one moment while I read this comment. People should watch that. You know what? You know what, man? Mike Woodard, that's a heck of a statement you just said, bro. Um, and because they don't ever have these live stream comments in the videos, I'm gonna say what you said. People should watch the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. They might be making it in the fashion of the old temple, and people waiting for a big thing in May, they are building it. See? Man, when you say that right there, and then who's gonna stop them from building it in the old temple fashion? Who's gonna stop them? Who gonna stop them? Nobody. Nobody. So it's just one of those things where all we can do is share the information that we have, you know, and hope that it's actually going to be beneficial to the listeners, the readers, the practitioners of the information, so-called information of the said. The scripture to me, and everything you feel is based on what has already been imparted to you. So I would have no feelings of the Bible if I had never heard of the Bible. I would not know what to think of the Bible if I had never heard of the Bible. So what I think and what I feel is based simply upon what I've been informed. So your feelings and your thoughts are based on information. You can't have feelings on nothing, based on nothing. It makes no sense. Once again, your feelings and your emotions are totally different, very different. And when people try to make them synonymous with each other, as if what you felt is the emotion that was driving you, or that feel that is not, they're not even close to the same. Not even close to the same. Um, um, saying that one cannot get in their emotions and allow those to drive their feelings as they read the scripture. Case in point, when a person reads something like in Ecclesiastes, one moment, as I find there is no new thing under the sun. And I try not to be rude to anybody because I truly do know why people say it, but I would like for people to actually take into consideration that maybe, maybe, just maybe, that when he said this in the stance of a man that was living in an established kingdom. Is that fair? Can I say that and not get stoned to death? That he wasn't speaking on pre-flood terms at all. He was speaking on what he knew about right then and there. And as a king, because he did so much, there's no new thing under the sun. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe I'm wrong. But but I just don't see how a dude who was called wicked in the sight of the Most High, who did wicked in the sight of the Most High, is a man that is somehow to be taken serious on that level. How? How can you take him more serious than notions that have been put forth and such as, if you take the notion there was no new thing under the sun serious, that means that there was people who were circumcised already. Right on? How could circumcision be a special thing between Abraham and the Most High if people were already circumcised? Why wouldn't they practice circumcision in Middle Earth? Why would they have not come back up from Middle Earth already circumcised? Right. I just want y'all to think about that. If there's no new thing under the sun, why wasn't Noah circumcised? Why weren't, I mean, just come on, man. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So when no new thing is approached, it's coming from a man who's speaking from the point of view and reference that there is an established kingdom. And in his understanding, this established kingdom has seen all. They've seen giants and all. To have the kingdom established, they had to do the impossible. Think about it. So he's speaking from reference of the history of all of his people. He's not talking out the side of his neck just to say that. That's disrespectful. And I don't even care for Solomon. You know, to say that there is no new thing under the sun as a dude who grew up in wealth. He never hurt for nothing. He never hurt for anything, yo. Never. There's certain things that I'm sure he couldn't even conceive he couldn't even conceive it in his mind because he had never experienced those things. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just talking on the fact that he brought up the fact that there is no new thing. And I know his notion of that comes from an established kingdom's point of view, not from a point of view of everything that has happened or that is happening happened all already. I have a very difficult time believing that. I have a difficult time believing that if there was giants running around before the flood, eating people and all this other things, that there was really a lot of time for like technological advancement. There was time, but they just for what you guys really want to think there was, no. You'd have to be totally isolated from these things so they didn't eat you. It's impossible. Come on, Jeff, it's all good. My roommate's back from work and stuff, you know. He's good people. Yep. As I tell y'all, you know, you can't be you deal with those that are like-minded. You know, deal with those that are like-minded. And I'm glad he hopped in there. I sure as am. I'm glad that he hopped in there, but it's just a mindset, a mentality. And that man right there, based on his bloodline, is a Gentile. I say this to this man, and I don't speak to be rude. That's what it is. More than likely, he has roots that come from people who come from the middle of the planet. He's not all up in arms about the shit. He accepts that. He's like, okay, well, nothing I can do about that. Right. Nothing I can do about being a black guy with coarse hair. It's life. You're either gonna take it or you're not. Question for you, Big Mike, while you're still here, brother. And I'm reading your comments right now. No one, doing it. Oh man, no, we do think very much alike, brother. But this is a question I want to ask you real quick. If I go and have children with a white woman, right? And then 2 generations later, they've only had babies with white people, are they still black people to you? And I'm gonna wait for you to respond. You get what I'm saying though? So like if I have grandchildren that look white, are they black because I'm black, or are they white people? Oh, he left. Nope. Nobody. It's all right. Always wonder. Still gonna go in. Still gonna wait. We'll see. We'll see if Bro comes back and hit me back up. Anyhow, my people, as I was just trying to conversate with Mr. Mike Woodard about a couple things. And I'm gonna ask y'all now. And then hopefully when people watch it and come to their minds, riddle me this. If the white man does the same thing, has children by the black woman, and then those children only go on to have babies with black people, are those babies black or are they still a white person? That's what I want you guys to think about. It's detrimental, detrimental, detrimental that you know better. Because if you don't know better, they'll tell you anything. I'm not going to tell you anything that I can't prove or that somebody else hasn't already said, who you already believe. So once again, I'm not going to tell you nothing that I can't prove. That's right. I believe that the overall genealogy would still go back to whoever the first man in that bloodline is. That said, I think it's even more fair to say, no matter what the babies start to look like, they're still that kind of person. Doesn't matter. So there's a whole lot of black and white skin and white and black skin looking people. And all the different shades of other people, all intertwined. I only say this because whether or not you believe your enemy looks one color or looks another way, if you call the white man the seed of the serpent, or you call him Esau, or you call him whatever, you would still be giving to these people specific denotions of where in which they come from eternally. I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying that they have a place of origin. Do I think that the white people running around right now are Esau? You mean to tell me that all those black people blood mixed that hard in with these people and somehow they still remember a beef from that long ago? No, that doesn't even logically line up. Doesn't even make sense. What makes sense though is that there probably are people who are white looking or have white skin that are from Edomite blood. Now, why is that impossible? There's black people right now to this day who live in this country who have white grandchildren. So please, please, I'm not gonna, once again, I can't make it to where it's like that's not real. I can just only say that to what degree and how much of a circumstance that is for us is all I can say. What else is on my mind? This is just the first live stream. I'm just testing the waters with this. Like I said, I'm figuring out right now all the different websites I'm about to be dealing with so I can live stream to them, do all the stuff right. I'm figuring it all out. As soon as the Most High gives me a little more financial freedom, things are really going to open up. But thinking about closing thoughts. Closing thoughts. I don't know. Stay alive. Don't worry about what nobody else thinks. Laugh at them. Can you dig it? Laugh at them. They have to know what they're talking about. This is how it works. So, because it works like that, tis how it bees. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Y'all, it's been a wonderful day. Well, so far, so good. But I'll catch up with you guys a couple days for sure. And I'm gonna try to figure out how to not do it through the Google thing before then. I want to be able to use this little website that I just made the account for or whatever, and I'm going to be paying a couple dollars for to be able to stream through it. However, let me not take up any more of your time. Uh, it's been an honor. May the Most High keep eyes on everything. Thank you, very kind.